When you think of horror games, you probably think of the classics like FNAF, Slender, Silent Hill, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, but for me personally, I think of Garten of Banban, the true horror experience where you walk around empty areas and solve random puzzles and get chased by spooky monsters. Wait, this sounds familiar. As someone who practically grew up on YouTube, I experienced the massive craze that was creepypastas and haunted games, and don't even get me started on the Twitter horror stories. But in the modern day, we for some reason have hit classics like Evil Choo Choo Man and Funny Toilet Guy. I'm too fucking old for this shit. So in an attempt to try and turn back my aging clock, I thought it'd be fun to figure out what exactly is Garten of Banban and why is it one of the more popular classics of this era. I don't know anything about it, so let's just get started. Also, spoilers if you care at all about that kind of stuff. As of recording this, Garten of Banban has 7 chapters, each longer than the other. I'm gonna be here for a while, my brain's gonna hurt. So the story of Garten of Banban is both simple and somewhat complicated, I think. You're just a parent looking for their missing child, and they arrive at the Banban daycare center place, and immediately something is off. For one, the place is emptier than my birthday party last week. There's no staff, there's no people waiting, and some doors are not even working properly. We find a note that we can assume to be from our child, unless this person has just horrible drawing and writing skills. Honestly, same. Our child tells us that they are hiding in a room, but they have to fight a monster, and it's the only chance they can make Claire like them. Look, personally for me, no child of mine is gonna do stupid stuff to impress the lady. No, why would anyone do that? No. No, I can't relate. Karen, I love you. Please call me back. If we pick up a remote for a drone and solve some easy puzzles, if you even want to call it a puzzle, you just command the drone to press a few buttons because apparently jumping is against the law. Over the course of a couple of chapters, you do new puzzles, you break down doors and run away from the goopy boys. Progress to new rooms by finding key cards or slamming things with the drone until it works. Garten of Banban does exactly what good video games do. That's right, walking. You walk because gamers don't leave their chairs. Most of the gameplay loop is just looking around and trying to figure out what to do, but I will admit that sometimes they get a little spicy and let you do other things. Oh my god. So explore, find new friends, learn in a classroom, and drive with the homies for a very long 5 minutes.
Awesome.
This is pink gameplay right here. One of the highlights of this game is that it does get better as it goes on. The first chapter is like barely 10 minutes long, but as soon as the second chapter starts, bam, the budget came in. A whole $2. And I can really appreciate that as this game slowly gets more comfortable and tries to figure out what exactly it is and find its footing. Every chapter not only gets bigger, but also has some more spooky elements, which is very much needed when your characters are as threatening as a piece of Play-Doh with googly eyes. But what's a horror game without lore? Every chapter has multiple secrets, whether it's notes or QR codes or secret rooms with tape recorder. The real goal of this game is to try to piece together what exactly is happening and why is it here. There must be a reason why these characters came to life. Why is there a giant underground facility underneath the kindergarten, and where did all the people go? And most importantly, where is my child? At the end of chapter 1, we go through some doors and then find a platform and travel down into the depths of the daycare, when all of a sudden this giant green monster starts taking us down. Some secrets we can find in chapter 1 are an old tape recorder of kids playing and then things falling down or like gunshots. Something happens which causes everything just to go exploding. It's really hard to make out. It did kind of spook me at how all of a sudden the laughter and the sound of children just stopped, and then all you hear is just noise. There's also this writing that says this message is for us specifically, meaning that there might be more of a reason why we're here, except they forgot about that in later chapters. Looking around a bit more and we find another boarding pass with a QR code. Scanning this one leads us to a website called euphoricbrothers.com with a simple message just letting us know that we can vibe here, which is kind of cool. We can also find a secret room by getting a secret egg that is actually really well hidden. Once we give it to the bird, we're allowed a key card that lets us in the purple room, which just has a bunch of computers. There's also another boarding pass with another QR code. Scanning us just gives us a message in our notepad telling us that it really hurts. Wow, they must know how much I've been suffering. Honestly, my mental health. Moving on to chapter 2, we somehow made it out of the— oh no! What happened here? Me on a Friday night. We grab our key card and realize that this place is way bigger than it was supposed to be. This area reminds me a lot of like the back rooms. I mean, first of all, like how is this even possible? Like how far underground are we? Supposedly we're on like the outer sector, meaning this place only gets bigger. And right across from us is the medical center. But there doesn't seem no way to access it right now, so I guess we'll have to solve this really hard puzzle to get there. Nice. We find a note that reads, "This is it. The thing we've done had finally come to bite us. Everyone's gone and the whispers from the abyss just keep getting louder. I think I even saw a face or two looking up at me. We were told everything that gets thrown into the abyss dies, but it appears we were tricked. If you're reading this, take my advice and leave. Everything here should be forgotten and erased from history." Banban himself actually speaks to us through the speakers. He seems familiar with the main character and apparently knows why we're here. The goal is still the same with us, needing to find key cards and keep exploring and eventually find more documents about these creatures and their possible origins. Specifically here where the report has human and Givanium genomes and their aliases is a devil. I can only assume Banban because of the horns, or me in middle school, who knows. Communication with Case 6 had provided invaluable information that previous cases have solely failed, as well as improved the creation of future cases. Wow, that's a lot of hoopla. Despite being seemingly incredibly intelligent, it does not appear to recognize itself as non-human. Reflections also have no effect as Case 6 appears to see itself as the human genome donor. Case 6 describes a constant immense pain that is present in the entirety of its body. Huh, that's interesting. I wonder if that's linked to the note that we got from the QR code. The case has failed to give a description more detailed than pain having to do with blood flow. Case 6 has no blood in their system, only Givanium. We explore a little bit and we end up finding another note. "If you read this fast enough, you might escape. I plan to sneak up on you and..." Ugh, my head. Ugh, what? No, Banban! How could you do this to me? So yeah, he plans to take our key cards and use us for experiments. I can only assume what he means by surgery is giving us the Givanium thing or something, I don't know. So yeah, fuck that shit. We wander in the hospital now and oh my god. Surprisingly a ton of different creatures, monsters? I don't know what you call these guys now. Banbanians? Banacopias. Wait, what the fuck is that? He's just standing there menacingly. This creature actually shows up multiple times just to be here, I guess. I guess I need to figure it out later. We've seen some crazy ones and I think that one takes the cake so far. One weird class section later and we finally find another note from our child. Surprisingly, he was able to find his inner Riz. Wait, that's not my child. The nice jellyfish saved us from the big bird and evil red man. We are going to the jellyfish's home. Okay, so this proves that Banban is evil, but at the end of the chapter, Banban actually confronts us, saying he needed something from us and wasn't able to ask cause... well, I mean, look at him. He wants to save them, but there is someone else who is stronger. Someone who is in the darkness. Someone else who is the real threat. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like that he's lying to us. I don't feel that he's evil, especially with the nice music.
Working towards saving him, if you can believe it.
I mean, I like the music. The music's nice. Chapter 3, we meet the jellyfish man that our child was talking about. He doesn't want us to reach our child and is telling us to leave and never come back. And swishes us with his slimy hands. No, stop it. And somehow when he touches us with his magic tentacles, he teleports us to another realm? It gives us a dream sequence? Makes us trip on acid? I don't know. He calls this place his home, and he tells us that he needs the children to achieve his goal and dream about a life where you're simply just floating and existing, not having anything to worry about or any consciousness. And later in the chapter, he finds Banban and apparently not only knows that he's been helping us, but he knows of a way to not end up like him. And we have the best anime fight ever! I feel like we got off the rails here. Okay, so what we know so far is that these barrels are filled with a substance called Givanium, and this is the reason why these creatures have come to life. And as far as why, well, in chapter 2, there was a secret room where we found this note to the Utman guy, which is the same guy that we found these boarding passes from. The main purpose of everything that keeps being brought up is to bring a friend day. In a lot of these notes, it mentions about needing one of these monster thingies ready for this day and them trying to prepare a special one that won't go out of control. And I can only assume this Utman guy ran off when he realized he bit a little more than he can chew. Apparently this Givanium is a liquid that is similar to blood, and a huge side effect is that it brings these creatures pain, but it apparently also brings them to life. Not only that, but it can also cause these creatures to grow out of control in both senses. Whether it's this green guy being as huge as your mother, or Banban having an on switch whenever he wants to make sweet love to your pancreas. Oh my god. Speaking of Banban, he actually has the genes and DNA of this Utman guy, which I guess makes him his son? I'm sorry you had to give birth to this. Apparently Banban was super smart, which isn't ideal of course, because then he could overthrow the government if he wanted to. So they tried fixing this by drugging him, but this just caused him to get more angry and worst of all, more pain throughout his body because they thought injecting him with Givanium would do more. I don't know. These guys are dumb, low-key. After all of this, the scientists still obviously wanted to make the perfect mascot for the Bring a Friend Day, and I think they somehow achieved it eventually, as we see in later in chapter 3 in one of the tapes that we find. But in one of the notes it talks about a ball pit being ready to break down, and this person is super paranoid and realizes that this place shouldn't exist, as they end their note by saying that they will leave, while the next note tells us about the fall of the ball pit. Wait, that sounds like an awesome movie name. The fall of the ball pit causes all the creatures to go wild for some reason. I think this is why the big jelly man wants us to leave him alone. He wants to be perfected and not go on a rampage like we see with Banban. In another case note, he tells us that in order for these monsters experiments to go well, it needs a bunch of different genomes in order for the perfect combination, which is why Banban or even Jumbo Josh didn't work out. Meanwhile, the Super Jelly Man has like 5 million different genomes or whatever. In chapter 4, we travel deeper down and get knocked out and get taken as prisoner. This new character introduces us to this place called the Kingdom, and we make our way to the Queen, and she automatically knows why we're here and has us do side quests, but oh no, we get exposition that if the Queen ever laughs, she will unleash some unknown disaster, and that's when we meet the Jester, whose goal is to make people laugh, and I guess his plan is to make the Queen laugh so she unleashes— what the fuck am I playing? Our child seems to be playing with Stinky. Sir, that's inappropriate. Take your tentacles away from me. We see another vision with all our favorite friends. I like this continuity. Last time we were here, we got in a car crash, and now we're chilling around a fire like buds. You know, it's kind of nice.
Sorrow, sometimes I feel like we're all just doomed forever. We each have our plans and goals, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. Stinky Tennis Balls talks to us about how he doesn't like Jumbo Josh. I mean, that's a face of only a mother could love. And then he talks about, I guess, life? He goes on about feeling depressed, about how goals don't really matter and how you can't undo the past. And when Banban tries to tell him that life is too short to feel sad, he hits him with the facts that yeah, it's not short for them, it's short for us, but they're different. And you know what? That's kind of spooky when you think about it. You know what? I'd honestly love this moment if it weren't for this.
Help me!
I really don't understand this game. The tone of Whiplash is just out of this world. I truly can't tell what it's supposed to be anymore. Also, what is the point of us being shown this? Like, what does it do for us? Is this the important lore of the game? I just wanted no answers. Give me the answers. Banban tells us that he is Utman, that he worked here, which is strange because Utman is also gone according to the notes, and Banban was also just created using his DNA, though I guess in one of the notes he said, anyway, it doesn't matter anymore. We also find out that the sheriff has captured pretty much everyone, and in the few case files that we see, it says that he is known for being extremely rough with his interrogations. You know, there's a lot of dialogue in this chapter. It is kind of cool though, because we can walk side by side with these characters and they tell us stuff, but it's starting to get a lot. The elevator is fixed, and you know how I mentioned about the Jester and the Queen stuff? Well, from case note 14 update 9, it states that the Givanium grown bodies experience a lot of difficulty leaving the pouch once inside the Queen's pouch. Yeah, you heard me right. Reflexes appear to loosen case 14's ability to hold the pouch shut at will. The reason for any case ability to leave the pouch has been theorized to be the result of some sort of attraction between the GV particles when they are very close proximity. Does that make sense? I don't think it does. It appears that once inside the sack, the gravitational pull, her aura is just super duper high because the special blood wants to be together like magnets or something. Yeah, sure. So does that mean that whenever she claps someone in between, she won't be able to pull her hands apart? No, it's not how, I feel like that's how that works. So yeah, Jesus shines his light, or fucking I don't know. We escape with the sheriff and Mr. Tentacles, and we go further down, with our new task being to find the Queen's scepter. Is this still about finding our child? I can't tell anymore. And chapter 5 doesn't exist. Yeah, I wish I could find it. Usually the sequels are promoted at the end of the chapters, but they skip 5. I have no clue. It exists on the Steam page, it's right here, it just doesn't exist in real life. Well, so moving on to chapter 6, a ton of monsters have like been banished to this lower floor, and they're known as the naughty ones. And apparently they're gamers because they don't like the light. A lot of this chapter is light shenanigans. After doing some parkour, we grab a part needed to open the door, and we encounter this strange creature which kills us, but it also doesn't. I don't know, it's very strange. Like, this is the first canonical death that happens because we can't move here. We can't do anything here. We just have to let it kill us. And our character is like, we feel strange. So I guess it's canon? We meet the Jester and he is now our friend, I guess, and is actually 2 guys in 1. Not 5 feet apart because they're not gay. Never! We find another jester, and honestly, this is probably the most creeped out I've been this whole playthrough. Just watching it rock back and forth, trying to hold itself together mentally is kind of jarring. Nothing bad, of course, just surprised we got something out of this. We meet a new friend who jumps Banban and calls him his liberator, and we get another vision where we die from a bus. I don't understand anything. So we find the scepter, but it's somehow missing its final piece. Also, the person guarding it has gone missing. Purple guy shows up, and now we know what he means by liberator. Turns out he was using us, but thankfully Banban uses the power of friendship. And we escape without the scepter. Woo! We did it, I think. Now Purple Guy somehow has an army. I'm not sure if these are the naughty ones that they were talking about, or if he somehow corrupted the other monsters. It's not quite clear about that yet. It sounds like a job for the Lord, if there's even any left. Banban sacrifices himself so we can go further down and look for the surgeon, because apparently we need him for some reason. I don't know. In chapter 7, we're all alone. Honestly, I kind of miss our friends that hate us and blame us for everything.
I wanted to let you know that this is all happening because of you. Never convince yourself otherwise. If you hadn't intervened with my plan or the Queen's, you'd be home in your warm bed. I would be free of my shackles, and everyone you hurt would not have been hurt.
So I didn't mention the last chapter, but we kept getting case reports on the spider. We barely see the spider throughout these chapters, but now we're getting a work safety survival guide video on it, where we're supposed to prioritize the safety of the spider, and if we get hunted by it, well, good luck, I guess. I'm assuming we're getting this because in the last chapter we saw the spider go wham, like wham wham, so I don't know. After exploring for a bit, we find a small train station thingy, but we're unable to call the train because, well, there's no train tracks. We go through a door and... oh shit. After getting knocked out, we see this creature that I can only assume to be the surgeon, as it...
The scissors. How many toys do I have to keep between hammers and scissors? You useless waste of resources. You think Vivanium grows on trees? You're getting repurposed.
What the fuck? Okay, what? Mr. PhD Surgeon tells us that all of this was done with a small portion of the scepter, so our new goal is to find Jumbo Josh and kill everyone. The sheriff is now depressed and his life is falling apart. Me too, man. Me too. We also find this note that tells us that it's growing too fast, and his crying will become louder, and the rumbles he makes every time he moves will become more noticeable. What child can bear being away from their parent for too long? I can only assume they're talking about our protagonist's child, meaning that this kid may have already been turned into one of those creatures. Speaking of turned...
I'm still hungry. Oh, I remember you. You always hated my jokes.
The Jester has turned into the Dark Jester. No!
Get toasted! No!
No, I can't believe it. No!
I deserve this.
Goodbye, my friends.
Wait, didn't you hate him? Our child leaves another note.
I want you to think of the amount of terror that the children would feel at the sight of even just one of these naughty ones.
Hey, mama didn't raise no bitches.
There is another thing I want to show you. It sure looks like you need it. You need to stop. Are you out of your non-existent mind?
Case 12G, alias the Child Monkey, was introduced to the children. The initial introduction was expectedly stressful. It seeked isolation whenever it could. A few hours in, Case 12G finally started to not avoid the other children. Wow, so it was actually a success. I guess that makes like two of them? Wait, which one's the Child Monkey? So we take the Givanium sample and put it in the remaining scepter piece to lure out Jumbo Josh, and he fucks everyone up! Oh my god. The scepter is destroyed and Jelly notices that the wall looks funny. And oh my god, oh my god, oh my my god, oh my god, oh my god. No, wait. No. It's over. No. So diving into the lore, one of the main things that sticks out to me is that the scepter has no explanation on what it is or how it was created. It just kind of popped into existence, and apparently it just has the power to do pretty much whatever, which is, I guess, kind of cool. There was an exposition for returning their scepter in update 15 for case 14, and not only do we learn that Givanium has regenerative powers, which explains why Banban and Mr. Jelly has been like destroyed 12 times over but still came back, but apparently some of the other creatures are in cahoots with each other. Another thing that's weird is the secret case report you get at the end of chapter 6. It reads, as per management request, cases 4 now move to the lower floors, 9, 14, and 17 were given 24 hours to decide on whether they will proceed with their malevolent plan or completely destroy any and all feats that they have achieved thus far, unbeknownst to case 18, which appears to be the most favored of said plan. A very violent outcome was hinted at if they had decided to go with the former. As per management request, we are keeping annihilations of all participating cases, newly formed sub-cases as last resort. So this is after the catastrophe that happened on Bring a Friend Day, I think? But the note was just the beginning. On the walls, it appears to have these things called types. First one being Givanium, type 2 being the Banban and his friends, type 3 and 4 being wiped away, with type 5 and 6 shown DNA, water drops combining to one, a heart, a sound, and a brain? I'm assuming these types are categorizing all the monsters that we've seen at this point, or maybe you need all these subtypes together so that way you can form the perfect body. In another secret room in chapter 7, because apparently everything needs a secret room, we see that this scepter is classified as type 5, meaning that it has brain, sound, heart, yes. If you go back to talk to the surgeon in between missions, he will actually talk to you and tell you some very interesting lore. So we all knew that he kind of had some history with Mr. Black Doom. Supposedly they were friends, but after all that has happened and being banished in the lower floors, Mr. Ty Purple Man grew bitter and swore revenge. Not only that, but Dr. Surgeon actually made the magic wand himself. It has the power to control the minds and do their bidding, which I assume why back on the wall it says brain, sound, heart thing, yes. How he create the scepter and from what, I don't know, Givanium probably. The only ones who are immune to the magic is Snail, Jumbo Josh, Dr. Jelly, Anteater, Man Guy, and the Big Boy Head. We also see a new character called Brushista, who actually wrote these plays that we see in the theater. This might be a wild theory, but from what I'm understanding from this chapter specifically is that Brushista was one of the first. I think they've been around this whole time. My point gets further proved by looking at these broken walls. We see all these characters lined up like we did on the walls of the kindergarten, but these are obviously different iterations of mascots. I think these characters are the original mascots we've had before Banban and his friends. But the real question is, why is Banban here? And is he aware of this? I think what this scene was supposed to mean is that Banban is going to be replaced by this new blue Banban, since red Banban is imperfect and flawed. And the fact that red man is just taped on the wall and also looks taped on the other walls, I think Banban was never supposed to be a candidate for the kindergarten at all, which honestly is a really good plot twist. I kind of like it. Okay, so this game is a huge piece of work in every aspect. There's a lot to like about this game, but there's also a lot wrong with this game. This game is a huge mess, but has so many great moments that it feels like every time the developers sat down to work on it, they were like, fuck it, we ball. If you just told me to play the first chapter, I'd be so disappointed. I'd hate to sit here and be like, oh yeah, it's all we do. You know, there's buttons and a drone and we have Poppy playtime at home. I honestly hate comparing games. Like, we're not gonna do that here. And yes, I know, like, this game's a cash cow. I mean, they're advertising their merch in the menu of the first chapter. Like, that much is obvious. But a game where you walk around and solve puzzles and have spooky moments doesn't automatically make it comping. You know, I just want to point that out, especially when it does it this bad. Honestly, in the first 2 chapters, you can hardly call these puzzles. When most of it is just walk here and do this thing, but with extra steps, and then you rinse and repeat. That's something I really hated, especially when we played more chapters and the levels got bigger. It was always so obvious when you went to a new room and had some dialogue, and then, oh no, we need this thing. So you do this thing with the drone and look around, and oh look at that next to you. There's a key card, and it's like, why are we like? This doesn't even feel like a game at this point. I feel like a lot of moments you're just making it tedious, and that doesn't make a good puzzle. There's no flow to it. It's just random obstacles to pad out the game time. The only chapter I feel like does this whole game thing properly is chapter 7, to an extent, of course. There's like a puzzle or two that I didn't really like that wasn't obvious on what to do. In chapter 1, you're a mother who is trying to find her child. This is fine. The point is to investigate and figure out what happened to your child. And the moment that you get in the kindergarten, you get this note that gives you the motivation motivation to keep going. Yes, we have that. But I have to ask, why is this parent bothering to look for eggs to give it to this giant bird? Why is the parent doing funny little tasks like playing Little Simon Says, you know? And yes, I understand that for gameplay reasons there needs to be a game. However, in chapter 7, a really good example of a puzzle or an obstacle is that this guy hates you. Story of my life. And he won't tolerate you because he's racist, which is a problem because you need to know what this creature looks like and you need to know what is happening. So he demands paper and a pen and all that. So you go look for it and he draws you something and then he throws you off the side of a cliff. Then you go to a bar to find witnesses and you run into the same problems with these racists. God, it can't go anywhere at this point. So you get a fake ID and that way he can tell you what you need to know and trick them. And that's cool. That's a good little obstacle. There's a reason for it and it flows into the gameplay and the story. A lot of the game is pretty much just go talk to character, find this, do obstacle. And most of those obstacles are with this drone here, which I don't really mind too much, I guess. It's fine for what it's worth, but my gosh, it's really fucking annoying almost all the time. It's clunky, it feels weird, it's unresponsive, it just reminds you that the game is long and tedious and it just doesn't work well. It doesn't feel good to use. I mean, seriously, like, I could just do a little hop and press this button, but no, you gotta command the drone to do this. Fuck you. In chapter 1, we need to have a super special device to solve puzzles because it's an indie horror game. You know, we need a gimmick. Oh my god. In chapter 2, things get so much better, thankfully. I love the lore stuff that's sprinkled in and the case reports that are both in obvious spots and in secret rooms. They do get super stale as the chapters go on, as you keep finding them everywhere on the floor, but that's mostly because there's so much fucking yapping and so much exposition. Speaking of that, Banban has a voice. That's pretty cool, and right off the bat, we have a really cool puzzle. It's a really cool puzzle, actually. I love how it integrates with the business and the workers, and it feels like it just makes sense. It feels like this should belong here. This is a good puzzle. But this is where it starts one of my main problems, and that's the whole keycard situation. See, in order to go to different areas, you need to find keycards, either by turning around and picking it up or completing stuff in the story. Later on in these games, it feels like everything you need to do requires a fucking keycard. Oh, you're telling me I need to open the door, but to do that I need to find the bolts, but to do that I need to find keycards, but to do that I need to go in the dark to find another keycard, but oh, I need to go to the bathroom. In order to do that, I need to find the yellow key card. That's what this game feels like sometimes. It starts to feel like every roadblock is caused by this one thing and not by unique interactions. I get how it's a facility, I get how the workers need keys, we need to kind of follow this formula so every chapter feels similar to itself, you know, that way we can establish, so yeah, this is Garten of Banban's gameplay loop. But let's think about this. If the workers needed this many key cards, they better have a backpack the size of 4 Minecraft inventories to keep them all. Because everywhere you go requires a fucking key card. Like this one part, you need to do this entire puzzle to get a key card to open this door, but you're locked in this door, so you need a key card to open it from the inside. Like, that's fucking dumb. Anyways, chapter 2 is fine. It feels like this should have been chapter 1, honestly. Like, this, in my opinion, is a way better start. It also feels like they're doing stuff to make this game unique and different. Like the school sections where we have to answer questions or grab the little devils. Like, this is cool. I like this. Comparing chapter 1 and chapter 2 is just a night and day difference. Chapter 3 definitely feels like it, and man, they go off the rails with these dream sequences. I both love these sections, but also kind of hate them. It really does feel like the tonal— I just hit the mic, oh my god. It really does feel like tonal whiplash, because this game is still trying to be spooky sometimes, I think, and it's trying to be like a little deep with some of like the stuff it's talking about, especially with the stuff in the case reports. But then you have such chaotic moments like Giant Squidward telling you how life is pointless when you have all the knowledge in the world, and then Banban tells you he wants to eat your pancreas. And then we have fun with cannons and shoot bolts of lightning. It's a bit wonky, but I don't know. It really starts to set the scene that this franchise isn't trying to be like scary or anything, or necessarily speaking, that's scary. They are trying to be its own thing. They are building a narrative and making this a story game. We are seeing how all these experiments are affecting and have affected these creatures. Sometimes these creatures do tend to be more human, and I like that. That's interesting, especially when you dive into the lore, which is doing a lot of the work at the moment. In chapter 4, things really go in a weird direction, as the whole plot is the jester trying to make a queen laugh so her yacht opens up and releases all of her inner demons. I'm not even joking. There's a whole kingdom down here, and we're so far underground. I just want to know, how much are they taking from our taxes? Who built this and who took the money from us? This is where it really takes a turn that Garten of Banban is really not trying to be like FNAF or Pop Playtime or any of the spooky Roblox games. No longer about our protagonist going through a difficult journey because our monsters are holding our kid hostage. No, it's about how these characters are sad, I think. In chapter 1, 2, and 3, it was simply about escaping and meeting new threats along the way. Now in chapter 4, our actions now dictate their future, as our goal is now intertwined with these characters. It's not as simple well as leaving the area, it's now if these characters succeed, then we don't. If this character gets what they want, then we will never see our child. And you know what? That's cool. I like that. I like how the story is now the driving force along with our goal, and it will continue to be so moving forward. This play is as big as ever, and I'm glad they somewhat fixed the problem with empty space they had in the previous chapters. Yeah, the map is huge, but if there isn't much to do or really look at, then being big is just kind of a massive downside because of all the walking you have to do. And there's really a lot of walking. And that's a problem that these chapters still kind of have, is the repetitiveness of walking everywhere. Why can't you just give me a car already? You walk here, puzzle here, yap here, rinse and repeat. My god. It is getting slightly better though, I will say, and I did like this chapter a lot more than I thought it would, and the puzzles actually kept me interested. And then of course chapter 5 doesn't exist, I don't know, moving on. Chapter 6 didn't really do anything. When you play it, it feels just like how it is. The whole gameplay loop is staying in the light, and I love how they're trying to switch it up. I was literally just complaining about how samey was feeling, and now we're finally doing something different. We sort of have this hub area, and we are meant to go off and explore, and when we're done with those sections, we come back here and take a nice walk back down memory lane and try to unlock the door. Good step in the right direction. It definitely feels different to play. However, in order for us to travel to these areas, we need light. Now, instead of giving us a flashlight or a side quest to turn on the generators beforehand, instead we use our drone. I think now is the best time to say this. The drone fucking sucks. It's stupid. I hate it. Kill it. It's not responsive. It's buggy. If you even dare to breathe on it, it gets stuck on the little tiny things, on things that it shouldn't even have a hitbox on. And when you're trying to adjust it, it just ignores physics and goes through the walls. It's not a good time, and this chapter really just shows that it's not a good time. And using it to traverse the darkness just feels like you're padding out the game time for no reason. Every few steps you take, you have to move the drone forward, unless you just run it through, which you can do by the way, but at that point, what's the point of having the gimmick? I especially don't like how it remains the same in every fucking chapter. I feel tired, you know, like every time I had to move the drone to press more buttons, it just gets tiring because we see this every fucking level. Every chapter of every level causes us to press like 3 buttons, especially when I had to do this puzzle. We've already done a similar puzzle like this a handful of times, and I do like how different it is each time, but I think my favorite iteration of this was the first one we got in chapter 2. It's the same idea where we have to match the colored objects with the walls for the pattern stuff in the specific order, but this time they're all the similar colors instead of different ones. But we have to do this like 4 times. We have to do this pattern bullshit 4 times, and we have to run around and turn these lights on by doing the puzzle multiple times, because why not? We gotta turn these lights like 3 times. We gotta press these buttons like 3 times. We have to do the sliding puzzle 3 fucking times. It's fine. It's whatever. It's whatever. I did absolutely love this section where you shine the light on the naughty ones. That was really fun and stressful. It isn't the hardest thing in the world, thank God for that, but it was the first time I actually got into it and was satisfied when it was over. Not because it was over, but because I had fun doing it. And I actually felt like I did something. Bravo to this game for making a fun gameplay section. I know, it's crazy. I'm complimenting the game for being a game. Chapter 7, I think, is honestly peak, and it is my favorite chapter. I know I mentioned before that this game isn't trying to be scary anymore, but this opening section, it's honestly really good. The craziness of the doctor slamming this guy when he doesn't bring them right tool, the slamming the doors and the noises of drills and tool, the atmosphere itself is great. This whole hospital section in the beginning is actually really spooky, and that's really weird coming from this game because, as I mentioned before, it's not trying to be spooky anymore. Looking at these creatures is weird the first time you launch, like they actually look kind of unsettling. Though the way you trick the doctor is really dumb, I do want to point that out. It sucks because this shows that they were capable of making something good and spooky and intuitive, but only did it for like 3 seconds. I'm kind of offended because the potential was always there to make something cool, but they just chose to do other things instead, which I guess, but guess what? They also fixed the drone slightly by giving you an upgrade that lets you control the drone yourself. It took them long enough, but they finally did something to try to improve it. Praise the Lord! This chapter also does the whole hub world thing, and this is honestly way better done. I like this place way more than the kingdom or whatever we had last chapter. I like how our missions tied together with the story, and it feels fun instead of just go find this wrench to fix this door and do this and that and go do the... No, it's undercover mystery, go track down the bees, go do some fun. Like, it's cool. I like it, even if it kind of sometimes feel a little side questy and disconnected. Of course, we have the mandatory puzzle that we do 3 times. We get chased by funny looking baby man, and guess what? Our main overall mission, it didn't fucking matter. Woo, the scepter was destroyed, but gasp, there's a bigger plot thread. Like, overall, I like this chapter way more. It was fun. It was a good setup. This feels like a good future for what it could possibly be in the future, you know? And at this point, I don't think Banban can get any worse or better. We'll see. I don't think I'll be here for that because I'm tired. And yeah, that's everything I thought about Garten of Banban. Overall, it's fine. I could see how people are into it, and I really like the direction it's going now, but other than that, I don't see the appeal. I don't know why others are so crazy about it. Maybe it's like a car crash where you just can't look away. Maybe it's the YouTubers who make it fun. Yeah, it's probably the YouTubers who make it fun. But yeah, I can confidently say that I will probably be here for the ride, and I lost all my brain cells. Alright, goodbye everybody!